It's another Friday, and I fucked up. I didn't really fuck up. I got into a fender bender. It was my fault. Wasn't really paying attention. I thought the person went in front of me, and they did not. Hit the gas, then immediately hit the brakes. Scratched the tail end of their car. Admitted fault, you know. Did the human thing, exchange information, all that shit. Already filed a claim. My point is, everyone, be defensive, be aware, be very aware of your surroundings, because you just never fucking know, and I was not. But, you know, I look at this situation, I thank God no one was hurt. Myself, especially the other driver included. Thankfully, she was not hurt. And, you know, yeah, I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad I'm okay. I'm glad our cars are okay. But just as a friendly reminder, everyone, be aware. Be very aware of your surroundings if you are operating a motorized vehicle, because I was not, sadly. But on the plus side, I got a Burger King crown. Got some chicken fries. How the hell are you? How is everybody? Happy Friday. Not so happy for me, but hey, you know, it'll get better, I'm sure. Hope everyone's having a great week. We got some cool shit to talk about, that's for sure. Got my Starbucks, too. Let me get some music going. I don't like the silence. Get some music going. Hold on. Hold the phone! Hold on. There we go. That's more like it. There we go. All right. All right. Now, for any reason I need to step the fuck away, it's probably to call or deal with insurance or whatever, deal with this. But let's just keep our fingers crossed that I don't have to. Knock on wood. Anyway, let's talk about some cool shit, guys. Let's talk about some fun shit. But let's see who's in the fucking chat. Let's see what's up. Mr. William Powell, the Sci-Fi Center, is this streaming on Twitter? Of course it's not, you dillhole. I don't have Twitter. I'm a fucking... Come on, man. I'm not a heathen. What's up, Braden? Good to see you, man. Got Hunter Iggy in the chat. What's up, dude? What's up? Pretty good, pretty good. There we go, there we go. King Phil, that's up. That's right. That's right, baby. Hey, what's up, man? Daryl, I enjoyed Superman and Lois finale episode. Really emotional. Creature Commandos, freaking loving it. Favorite characters, Rick Flag and the Bride. Okay, all right. Well, we'll definitely be talking about Creature Commandos. For show, for show. Braden asks, are those fries any good? Dude, these chicken fries are fucking phenomenal, bro. I love them so much. So much. Yo, Dalton, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Yo, Phil, really loving the video. Creature Commandos was awesome. Great start to DCU. Well, okay. So, obviously, the title of the episode is The New Era of DC. New Era of DC, or whatever the fuck I titled. I don't even remember, but yeah. I will be talking about Creature Commandos. We'll be talking about Superman and Lois. Got a couple other things to talk about. First and foremost, though, I'm not saying this is more important, but I do want to get it out of the way. I kind of want to go a little bit sequentially with this, but only kind of, because this was at the start of the week, and I kind of want to go, you know, beginning to end of the week. You know what I mean? And the first thing I'm going to bring up, hold on real quick. We got Mwamba. Also, don't know if you've been online. Already selling merchandise for Fantastic Four First Steps. Shirts, jackets, and hoodies. Oh, cool. I will look into that. I will happily look into that. Happy Burger King B-Day, Johnny Storm. I wish it was my B-Day. It's not. My B-Day is not for another month and 13 days. But thank you, Screenlight. Welcome to the show. Anyway, first thing we're going to talk about is Disney-related. You all thought I was going to say Snow White, didn't you? No, I'm not talking about that fucking trailer. I've got no desire to watch that movie. No, guys, it's Skeleton Crew. Come on, Star Wars Skeleton Crew. First 2 episodes premiered on Monday night. Oh my God, this show was fucking cool, man. And I say this as someone who's like, not really a Goonies guy, but I did like the Amblin Entertainment stuff growing up. I love John Watts as a creator.
So these first two episodes, yeah, it's definitely Amblin, it's definitely Goonies, it's definitely like
in that realm. Like someone even brought up like Flight of the Navigator, and I was like, fuck yeah, that's my shit right there. That's my shit. Flight of the Navigator is fucking awesome. If you've never watched that movie, I highly recommend watching that movie. Flight of the Navigator is such a fun time I almost said fun time at the theater. No, Flight of the Navigator is such a fun 80s Amblin movie. It's so fucking cool, so cheeky, and so like, what? It's so much fun. It almost feels, I think it feels like a Lucasfilm film, but it's not really Lucasfilm, if that makes any sense. But yeah, definitely get a lot of Flight of the Navigator Goonie vibes from Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Screenlight says, have to watch episode 2, love the pilot. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the 2 episodes. So if you do not want to be spoiled about it, I will let you know. But first episode, obviously, very, very Amblin Entertainment inspired. You know, we finally see something we have not seen in Star Wars. You know what that is? A fucking suburb. We see a suburb full of a neighborhood of families, like working in the, you know, collective middle class of the galaxy far, far away, driving like cheap flying machines and, you know, going to school and like being advised by these robotic police android things of like having curfews and shit. It's like, whoa. So Star Wars really does kind of operate like the real world to an extent. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I did like that we were introduced to the 4 children very accordingly. Like, you had the first kid, Wim, and then he meets up with his buddy Neil, and they act like they're fucking playing with lightsabers and shit. That was super cool. That was super fun. That was just, it's very like, it reminds me of a time when I was that age, and me and my brothers and my cousins would get together. We'd pull out our lightsabers and we'd, you know, do the whole, you know, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan fight, or, you know, with this around the time Phantom Menace came out, we would do fucking, you know, Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Like, we would totally do that. And then our uncle had a video camera, and then he videotaped us, like, duking it out with our lightsabers. And then the cool thing is, he would either do the Imperial March over it, or he would put Duel of the Fates over it. It was almost like making a mini Star Wars video. God, that shit was so fun. That was so, oh man. Anyway, my point is like, the opening of the pilot episode brought me back to my childhood in such a personal way that I was just like, oh, I'm on board. These kids are fucking cool. Like, I love that Wim is so like, fuck school. I don't want anything to do with school. I want to go be a hero. I want to go be a Jedi. Fuck all that bullshit. I don't want to fucking study for the rest of my life and end up like my dad, who's too fucking busy to take care of me. No, fuck that. I want to be a hero. I was like, you know what, kid? You got spunk and I love it. And then you've got Neil, who's the mild-mannered friend who's just like, no, I just want to do what I'm told and go home and take baths and, you know, say hi to my siblings and, you know, I want to be a good kid. But I'll hang out with you because you do, you know, cool things. And I want to be cool too. I love Neil. I think Neil's like the best one of the bunch. And I think that's like a collective thing across, you know, Star Wars fandom thus far, is like everyone loves Neil. And I'm like, yeah, that kid's fucking cool. But it's also important to remember, he is not Ortolan. He is not an Ortolan. He is not related to that one alien in Mos Eisley. They are not of the same breed. Neil is from a different breed entirely. He is a different kind of alien. But yeah, that was cool. And then, of course, you know, you've got Fern and KB, who I'm just like, okay, you girls are pretty badass for your age. I mean, fucking driving around on speeder bikes, that transit, that fucking, what did he call it? Trolley, I think? I don't remember. But like, they looked at the trolley and they were like, ah, to hell with that. Rode off on their speed bike. I was like, that's badass. Some badass shit right there. I loved it. But then, like, her bike just kind of like one day after school. That was, and then like the lingo of the universe is like, oh, I need a power converter. I was like, oh no, she said power converter. Oh man, this is gonna make all the chuds so mad. But yeah, it was cool. And then the way they come together, like even getting that little animosity bit between Wim and Fern when they're both standing outside the principal's office. They had another word for it in the show, but effectively, they're sitting in front of the principal's office, and Wim's just like, I missed my assessment test. And she's like, well, what are you in for? I missed my assessment. And she's like, and he's like, what are you in for? And he was like, or she was like, man, I'm just so excited to talk about it. I'm like jumbling my words up and shit. But effectively what happens is like his dad comes out and is like, what are you doing? Why'd you miss school? You know you have to take your assessment test, right? And now that you missed some of it, you have to get everything right just to pass. And Wim's just like, oh, great. Now I got to study and get this shit done. Awesome. But what does Wim do? In his lovely child intelligence and his great wisdom as like a 7-year-old, decides to go get Neil and then goes down into that pitfall that he fell on while being late and discovers this like manhole and thinks it's a fucking Jedi temple. I don't remember any Jedi temple that has an opening like that, but hot fuck, I was kind of with it, even though, you know, if you watch the trailer, you're like, yeah, it's not a Jedi temple, it's a fucking spaceship. But the curiosity that sparked these kids to be like, oh, I want to figure what this shit out is, right? And then like the other two show up and they kind of like fight over who gets dibs of like claiming this manhole in the ground. And like once they open it up and they go inside and they're just like, what the fuck? And then of course, what does Wim do? He plays with the thing he's not supposed to play with, flicks the switch, and then what happens? Oh my god, it's a fucking ship coming out of the ground! And then they run into the droid, SM-33, who, check this shit out. Someone on Threads pointed out to me that SM-33 spells Smee, like from Peter Pan. It's a droid named Smee. How fucking cool is that? That's so fucking cool. Oh my god. When I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck! This is so cool! And he's voiced by Nick Frost, too, who is effectively kind of like a real-life Smee to Simon Pegg's Hook. More or less. But yeah, man. And this ship just fucking comes out of the ground, all the roots and shit, and, like, it blasts them into fucking nowhere, and his dad's just like, oh, fuck, my kid's lost in space. Ah, pun intended! Pun totally intended. Pun intended there. Now, the second episode, I believe Screenlight, you're the one who hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, you have to watch episode 2. Okay, so Screenlight, just FYI, I'm about to talk about episode 2. You may want to step away for like 5 minutes, give or take. But episode 2, you hear the fucking droid talk, and it's Nick Frost, right? And then like you get the kids and they're like, oh fuck, we gotta get home, right? How the fuck are we gonna get home? Well, the droid knows how to pilot the ship, right? And that's what they think. And then the funnier part is like they trick the droid into thinking that Fern is the new captain. And it's like, oh, that's adorable. That's something a child would do in Star Wars, tricking a droid into thinking it's its new captain. I love it. I love the way the show's written. It's actually quite brilliant. I think John Watts did a phenomenal job. Him and I believe Christopher Ford. I believe those are the two executive producer showrunners of the show. But yeah, man. Like, and then they wind up on this fucking like pirate hideout, and it's like full of pirates and shit. And of course, you know, kids on a pirate hideout. Yeah, that'll end well. Spoilers. It didn't end well. They try to get away. They do some shenanigans. They fuck with the pirates a little bit. But inevitably, unfortunately, they get caught. They get thrown in a jail cell. And they're like, great. Now we can't even get back on our ship. But also, not before, a really slick fight scene happens with the droid. And the droid starts whooping ass on these pirates. And it's fucking amazing. It is fucking amazing at how much SM-33 can just whoop all sorts of ass. It is incredible. I love the way that droid fought. It was awesome. I wish more droids would fight like that. For sure. Anyway, they wind up in a cell, and they meet a hooded figure who's Jude Law, right? And he, like, uses the Force and gets the brig key and brings it to them, and fucking, they're like, oh, cool, and the Wim's like, oh, you're a Jedi! And, you know, Jude Law's character's like, oh, sure, yeah. And I'm just like, you know, you sound a lot like the pirate who was in the very beginning of the first episode. I'm wondering if he was a pirate captain. I would not be surprised if that is the big twist of it all, is like he's the one who's from the beginning of the show. Wouldn't at all be shocked about that. But anyway. The BK hat is a vibe, right? I hella wanted Burger King today just because. And then the chick at the drive-thru was like, do you want a crown? I was like, nah. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. I'm going to stream later. I was like, yeah, I do want a crown. So that's why I'm wearing the crown for the stream. Because I'm a motherfucking king. Jeffrey the Keyblade Master. Damn right he was whooping ass. Okay. Overall, though, Skeleton Crew, really badass. Really cool. Solid storytelling. Love the kids. Curious to see what they do with Jude Law. Love the vibe. Love the aesthetic. There were like one or two sequences where I was like, okay, that's definitely CGI, and it's a little noticeable, but fuck it, whatever. But everything else looked practical, looked good, looked really intricate, looked amazing. The costume department, the practical effects of it all look fucking amazing. Like, this show's production value is fucking astronomical, and it looks incredible. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yes, Derpy Entertainment, these are chicken fries. They are fucking delicious. Anyway, overall, like, my first impressions of Star Wars Skeleton Crew are just more. I want more. I want more Skeleton Crew. I'm 2 episodes in. I want more. My only like pitfall of it is like I have not got to see the rest of it, but I have got to see all of a certain thing that I'll talk about later. But I want more. I can't wait. Like, Tuesdays are going to be Skeleton Crew Day, and it's going to be awesome. Like, every Tuesday is going to be effectively Skeleton Crew Tuesday, and it's going to be great. Like, Star Wars. I'm not going to say that dumb shit like, oh, Star Wars is back! Star Wars never fucking went anywhere. What are you talking about? But man, Skeleton Crew was the fucking sauce, bro. I loved Skeleton Crew. I can't wait to see where this show goes. I can't wait to see the shenanigans that these kids get into. And before I forget, fucking Jaleel White is a pirate in Star Wars. How cool is that? Like when I saw him, I was like, Urkel! But yeah, this show was cool. I loved it. I loved it a lot. Loved it a lot. Can't wait to see where the fuck they go from here. Star Wars Skeleton Crew, every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, folks. But Skeleton Crew has come, but another show is gone. It has ended. It is the end of an era. That's right, folks. We are getting into the DC talk now. The end of the Arrowverse has come to a close. That's right, everyone. Superman and Lois has ended, and thus an era of DC television is 100% done. Started with Smallville in 2001, ended with Superman and Lois in 2024. Now, Superman and Lois premiered the same day as Skeleton Crew. I didn't even get to watch the fucking episode until Tuesday, because I don't have the CW. At least I have the app, but I don't have the fucking channel. At least not in my room. But yeah, this was a fun show. I do not like the first season all that much. Okay, let me rephrase that. I like the first season up until they reveal that Morgan Edge is Superman's brother, and I was like, nope, don't like that. Never like that. Still not a fan by that. So when I got into season 2, I was like, all right, this is just a thing that's in this series. I'll fucking bite my tongue and deal with it. Overall, the series is great. The series is really good for its production value. Even with a slashed budget for the 4th season, they still managed to stick the fucking landing. This finale was probably the best finale of any DCCW show ever. Seriously, like, the fact that we got to witness Clark beat the fucking dog shit out of Lex Luthor, grapple some fucking kryptonite screws and crush them with his hand, literally knock Luthor out of that fucking suit, takes Doomsday up into the sun, throws him in there, and then Doomsday like gains consciousness like, wait, no. I'm gonna do this. I got you. Don't worry. I forgive you. And then just goes into the sun, fucking Christ-like. I was like, okay, you may not look that good, because I do not like the look of Doomsday in the show. I'll be straight the fuck up about that. But regardless of how I feel about the aesthetic, the execution in which they got rid of Doomsday, I was like, oh, that's clever. I like that. A lot of people were like, oh man, Doomsday's gonna fucking give him his heart and he's gonna live forever. I'm like, they're not gonna fucking do that. There ain't no fucking way. Because if his whole body's mutated, the fucking heart's mutated too. What fucking sense does that make? But I digress. Either way, the handling of getting rid of Doomsday was really well done. He had no way of going back to his Earth. He was a deformed monster. He had been murdered countless of times by fucking Lex Luthor. There was no fucking way. There was no way. So he went off into the sun, and it was awesome. It was great. But getting that callback, that homage to Zack Snyder's Justice League, where Superman just goes whoop, as Doomsday's fist flies by him. Oh my fucking God. I was like, I know what you're doing. I see you. That's clever. I love that so much. Because I am, of course, a Zack Snyder fan. Anyone who doesn't know, I mean, the fucking poster's right there with his fucking signature on it, crying out loud. But seriously, I love that homage. Love the way they ended the series. I was like, yeah, this is a pretty solid ending. But then, you know, we get the 1 year later thing after Luthor's all fucking done and whatnot. The family comes together, they hug, whatever. Everything's fucking finale, boom, boom, boom. And then fucking Milton Fine. Oh my God, Milton Fine. Holy shit, that guy was totally going to be Brainiac, and I guess he kind of was Brainiac, and it was cool. But when they kept saying Milton, and then they showed Milton and what Milton was doing, I was like, oh, okay, this is more Technivore Brainiac than it is like fucking super alien with jars all around his spaceship. But even cool, they like had a little jar with a city in it as a nod to the fact that, like, yeah, Milton Fine is a version of Brainiac. I was like, well done. But when we get to the 1 year later bit, and Lana Lang and John Henry Irons get married, I was like, oh. You know, at the beginning of the episode, they were like, are we even going to be able to do this? And then a year later, no big deal. Let me just go ahead and put a fucking ring on that hand. Because John Henry Irons is a fucking boss. Walt Parks, you fucking own that role, dude. Love that shit. That was amazing. But yeah, this shit was awesome. But then, the real big fucking, oh my God, was the whole epilogue bit of like 32 years later. And it's, or rather, you know, not necessarily 32 years later, but like the whole like, I get more or less the epilogue of it all. Like, this was very much like, oh, well, they actually followed through with it and made Superman like mortal. Cool. That was really awesome. But I guess, you know, the tragedy of it all is like, we only got like a couple seconds of the whole super family. And it was cool to look at. It was great to see that they all finally got suits. And I'm like, you know, had they had been given another season or two, I guarantee you we might have seen these two boys as Superboys in the series. And we for sure would have gotten John Henry Irons in his steel suit with the fucking the logo and the cape and the hammer, and like Starlight was a thing. Like, oh my God, it was cool. It was really good. It was a really lovely way to end it. But then we get to see them grow up, and we see Jordan and Jonathan as adults. We see, you know, Salt and Pepper Superman, where he's older, he's a granddad, and Lois Lane, like, they have grandkids. They got to be grandparents. I was like, oh, this is so heartwarming. Oh my God, this is so fucking, oh man. Oh, my heart. No pun intended, but my heart. But then like Clark, as he's delivering his monologue, he goes, Lois was my, you know, she was my rock until her cancer came back. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. And then, of course, like, we get that sequence, the goodbye to Lois Lane as she's dying in the bed with the cancer. And Clark's there, her boys are there. And it's just like, oh, fuck, man. This is how Lois Lane dies. This is beautiful. It's such a beautiful ending to this character. And then You know, the last word she says after I love you, Clark, is daddy. Because at the same time, it's like when you think about it, not only is Clark there, but the father of her heart's there too. And as she's passing, she sees her dad, obviously. Like, that's the implication there, that when she goes, she's meeting her father on the other side of the afterlife. And it's like, oh, fuck, dude. Oh, man. I didn't ever think a CW show could hit me right in the fucking feels as much as Superman and Lois did. But hot damn, they did it. And then, of course, Superman and Krypto. Like, Clark gets fucking Krypto, and he's like, oh, why have I never had a dog before? And I'm like, well, funny you mentioned that, because there's another version of Superman that's totally going to have a dog, and it's coming out next July, but we'll get there. But no, like, we see Superman have a relationship with a fucking dog after his wife dies, and it's like, bro, that is such a dude thing to do if you're like 60-something years old and your fucking lover passes. Abso-fucking-lutely, I would probably get a dog if my wife died and I was like, you know, pushing 70. I would want companionship. But the thing that really touched me in a personal way was, like, you know, he mentions that Jordan came by every day and Jonathan stopped by, and then you get a pie with, like, you know, from love from Lana, and it's like, oh, dude, his community still fucking loves him. I also really love, also in this epilogue, that they show, like, how Superman and Lois definitely, like, went out of their way to try and make the world a better place. Like the Four Seasons community center, whatever the hell it was, the Sam Lane Medical Center, like all of that, the whole conversation that Lois and Clark have in their kitchen after the wedding. And Lois is like, you know, what, or rather Clark is like, you know, what do you think people will remember Superman and Lois by? And she goes, I'd like to think truth and justice. And then he spits out a better tomorrow. And I was like, fuck yeah, Clark. Fuck yeah. Superman, fucking truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. That's a fucking great Superman right there. He is right up there with Henry Cavill with some of my favorite Superman moments, for sure. Like, that conversation in and of itself was just so fucking good, man. Like, that is the kind of shit I'm looking for when it comes to Superman. I want those kind of conversations happening when it comes to Superman. That's the shit I look for when it comes to writing a great fucking Superman. But damn, dude, like, that was so good. Just so fucking good. And I'm just like, man, we're probably never going to get something like this for a long while ever again. But that was great. That was hands down my favorite part of the whole finale, was that conversation between Lois and Clark in their kitchen. I love that so much. And then we see how they tried to make a world a better place in wake of that. And then, of course, you know, when Clark actually does have a heart attack and he dies, and it's like, whoa, they killed him. Like, they actually fucking killed Superman, but, you know, not by way of doomsday. It was well done. It was really well done. The fact that he got an additional, like, 30-something years after that fight with Doomsday and that heart transplant, that's so real. That's such a fucking thing that happens in the real world. And it's just so... right here, that's just so heartwarming. So emotional. So well done. I can't stress enough, like, how much I love those final moments where he's walking through his house and he sees his children again as he remembers them. And the cool thing is like, when he exits his body, you see him in his prime. You see him as we all know Clark. And he goes and, you know, gives his children hugs and sees Chrissy and Kyle, gives her a hug, gives him a fist bump. But then he just kind of looks at Lana and John, and I'm like, you can hug them too. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but, like, you know, sure, whatever. And then, you know, they open the door and he effectively, like, goes to step on to the other world, the afterlife. Who does he see? Fucking Lois Lane in that damn beautiful red dress that she wore on their date. And I'm like, that's a stellar ending right there. To have it cap off with the life and death of Superman and Lois. Honestly, I said this on, I believe, Busy Braun's stream. I said that this ending is about as definitive as you get for Superman to The Dark Knight Returns is to Batman. Like, this was such a damn good ending to this version of Superman. I loved it so much. Like, it's amazing to me that I went from, in the beginning of the show, I was like, to by the end of it, I'm like, tears. Because it's so good. It's so good for a slash budget on the CW. Fuck you, Next Star. Mr. We don't want scripted content. Well, fuck you. This is some of the best scripted content you're ever gonna fucking get. Good luck surviving now. Shit. You guys like my new cup holder? Or rather my new fucking, what are these things called? They go into the cups to prevent the watermarks, like, you know. Yeah, my engineer 3D printed this out for me. But yeah, I love it. I love it a lot. Anyway, Superman and Lois, phenomenal ending, lovely ending, beautiful ending to a great show with great characters. Hats off to Tyler Hoechlin. Hats off to Bitsy Tulloch. Hats off to Alex Garfin. And I forget who played Jonathan because he was played by two different actors in 4 seasons. Walt Parks was great as John Henry Irons. Fucking loved Michael Cudlitz as Lex Luthor. I really, really loved Michael Cudlitz as Lex Luthor. And I am a fucking stickler for how I like my Lex Luthor. That's for damn sure. Oh, thank you, Mom. What? Thank you for bringing this up, too. Also like how in the finale, Lois went to Bruno Mannheim. Bruno Mannheim played by fucking Chad Coleman. That dude's a fucking boss. Man, dude, that was great. That was so great. Like the way they intertwined all of that. That was so good, dude. Hats off to the CW. Hats off to fucking Eric Wallace and Helbing and everyone attached to Superman and Lois, bro. Like, that whole show went out on their own terms, even though they were kind of, like, forced in their own terms. They still made it fucking work, and they made it work well. Fucking bravo to them. Bravo to the crew. Never forget. Never forget. But, as one era ends, a new era begins. That's right, folks. The DCU has officially had its soft launch. That's right, folks. Creature Commandos! Creature Commandos! Yeah! Creature Commandos debuted yesterday. 2-episode premiere. The first episode, the Cobby Wobble. Second episode, Tourmaline Necklace. Yeah. You know. Oh, thank you, Cameron Walker. Michael Bishop was the one who played Jonathan in the second half of the show. So seasons 3 and 4, it's Michael Bishop who plays Jonathan. Thank you. Creature Commandos rocked. I agree. But here's the thing. I'm glad anyone who's seen it has seen the first 2 episodes. I'm so glad I can finally talk about this. I have been privileged enough to watch all of Creature Commandos. And let me just say, y'all are in for a fucking treat. Because this show is pretty fucking cool. The music is catchy. The animation is great. The characters are fucking awesome and hilarious for the most part. There are a few things that I'm kind of like, nah. One of those things actually happens in the second episode. And that is, of course, the bride getting fucked by Victor Frankenstein. I was like, no, that's weird. This is weird. This is super fucking weird. I don't like this. It's the one thing in the entire show that I was just like, nope. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. At all. Another thing I immediately, when I saw this the first time, the fact that James Gunn has himself as a character in the opening credits, I was like, yeah. Really? I don't know whose idea it was. That's going to get some criticism. That's definitely going to garner some criticism from some people who do not like James Gunn and people who are, you know, more than likely pro Zack Snyder. They're probably going to look at that and go, fuck that. That's fucking bullshit. If anyone else would have done that, they would have been criticized. No shit. Had anyone else done it, they probably would get criticized. But look at it. James Gunn did it. Dean Laurie did it. Everyone working on Creature Man, like, they did it. What are you doing? You're criticizing him. It wouldn't have mattered if it was Zack Snyder who did something like this for Twilight of the Gods. Wouldn't have mattered if it was fucking Bo DeMeo for X-Men 97. Imagine if that happened in the beginning of X-Men 97, where it was like, oh, created for television by Bo DeMeo, and they had like an image of Bo DeMeo in the show, even though he makes an appearance in the fucking show in episode 5. His name is Gambit, remember it? One of the most memorable fucking episodes of television ever. Anyway, back to Creature Commandos. The first 2 episodes do exactly what they need to do. The first episode is entirely all set up. You get the premise, you get the setting, you get the characters, you get Waller and Flag, who, fuck me. Frank Grillo is great as Rick Flag. I cannot wait to see you guys see what happens with him going down the line. I also found it not too... I found it pretty predictable. Like, once the first episode happened and he's having the conversation with Princess Ileana and she kind of throws herself at him and he's like, I don't know. You're a little too young for me. And she's like, I like older men. I was like, they're gonna fuck. They're totally gonna fuck. What happens in the second episode? They fuck. Because of course they do. Because of fucking course they do. Like, why wouldn't they? Anyway. James Gunn said that it was not his idea to have him animated in the opening credits. I would love to see this quote, not because I think I'm doubting you, but because I would love to see where this did stem from, just for future reference. Because I know for a damn fact, this is not the first time that someone has thrown a version of themselves in the credits where they credit themselves and it's like an image or something of them in it. Like, I really don't doubt that probably wasn't his idea. Rick Flag Sr. is definitely a ladies' man. Okay, so there's going to be a conversation that happens between Frankenstein and Rick Flag, and Frankenstein calls him something, and it makes me laugh my ass off every time I fucking hear it. It's such a funny line. It's actually in the 4th episode. When you guys get there, you will know, okay? You will know. It is a conversation between Frankenstein and Rick Flag, and you will know what the fuck I'm talking about because it is hilarious. What Frankenstein says to Rick Flag is just fucking funnier than shit. Because when you take into account, like, it's basically David Harbour speaking to Frank Grillo, and you can imagine them as these characters, and what Frankenstein says to him is just like, God damn it. It's super funny. But the first episode, again, when they go through, who the characters are, it's very Suicide Squad-esque, more or less. And it's abundantly clear that this is a soft sequel to the Suicide Squad. Because, of course, Amanda Waller makes reference to, like, the fact that Weasel's the only surviving member of Project Starfish, and, that kind of rattles Rick Flag Sr. a little bit, because, obviously, as we've seen the movie, Rick Flag Jr. dies by way of Peacemaker. So he's still pretty miffed about that. Obviously, for obvious reasons. But I also really love that the bride is like this no-nonsense fucking bitch who's just like, yeah, you get in my way, I'm gonna fucking beat your ass. I love that shit. I love those kind of characters. She's awesome. Dr. Phosphorus. Okay. He's funny. He's meant to be funny. He is intentionally funny. Because the fact that they can make so many, like, oh, you're smiling, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, of course I am. Because it's a perpetual fucking smile. Because he's a fucking skeleton and covered in nuclear energy. Of course. I mean, I would have, do the thing with her as soon as she took her clothes off. I think any man who was of manly stature, if that woman was throwing themselves at them, yeah, you would think, like, why not? Come on. Yes, the first episode was absolutely perfect setup. I agree. I loved how they showed Bride of Frankenstein through different eras of history. Okay. Funny you mentioned that, because in that montage, if you get to the 90s, if you fucking pause it at the right point, you will actually see Shaggy from Scooby-Doo hitting a joint. I shit you not. Shaggy is canon in the DC universe. And it's hilarious. But yes, I love that montage of them fighting back and forth constantly through different eras of time. Like, that just goes to show that Frankenstein is superbly, stalkerishly obsessed with the bride. Because when we get to her episode and we see the machinations of how she came to be and how Victor Frankenstein kind of lays it out, like, yeah, when children are born, they spend 9 months in the womb, and that's their connection to the universe by way of their mother. This is just coming into existence. This is just going from something to nothing, or rather nothing to something in an instant, right? Like, this is definitely something that doesn't happen at all. It's unnatural. And all it is like the Eric Frankenstein being like, I want a bride. Like that's his bit. He just wants a freaking bride. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty effing cool. Like the way they animate this, when the second episode opened, I was like, oh, it's the birth of the bride of Frankenstein. Got it. And we see the relationship between her and Victor Frankenstein develop, and he's teaching her words, how to speak, how to pronounce words and stuff. Like, I love that shit. I loved all of that. And I loved how in the beginning of towards the end of the first episode, she was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm out of here. And bride just straight up takes off to her old house because she wants that fucking necklace that he gave her. And Nina Mazursky, bless her, bless Nina Mazursky. She's such a beautiful, kind character in this whole series. Love her to death. So kindred. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I like how Dr. P and Weasel listening to Rick Flag. I mean, look. Written by James Gunn, okay? We've seen him do shit like this before. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm not saying I'm mad at it. I'm just saying I'm not surprised, okay? That's what I'm getting at. I am not surprised at what was presented to me through this stuff. I was generally like, okay, yeah, that tracks. But it fit. It was funny. I laughed. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking laughed. It was great. And then, like, you know, they go and try and go after Nina and the bride. But what was also really cool was the fight between Dr. Phosphorus and Rick Flag. Rick Flag just fucking whoops his ass. That was great. The animation, again, in this series is really fucking good. The animated fights, as you will see them, are really fucking well done. They're awesome. They put time, like, props to Bobby Pill's animation for making something truly fucking special with this show. This show is fucking bananas in all the best way possible. And I think that's partially in part due to the musical cues and with it and whatnot. It was great. Really well done. And then even in the second episode where we see the bride going ham on the Sons of Themyscira and then eventually duking it out with Cersei. Like, fuck. What a fucking force to be reckoned with. Holy shit. Oh my God. Watching Cersei fight was fucking cool. Like, they did that character some serious justice. But wait, Phil, you forgot a character. No, the fuck I didn't. How could I forget about G.I. Robot? I love G.I. Robot. G.I. Robot is my favorite character of the entire series. And next episode, you will see why. I will just say that the next episode, the title's already been revealed on the internet, so this isn't a fucking spoiler. But the next episode is titled Cheers to the Tin Man. The next episode is predominantly about G.I. Robot. There are some really great nods, some really deep cuts, some really cool shit. And yes, G.I. Robot kills Nazis. And it's fucking awesome. Matter of fact, it's so awesome, it deserves this.
This is fucking awesome.
This is fucking awesome what G.I. Robot does to those fucking Nazis in that fucking show, bro. Oh, they have the best friendship. This is explored again in the next episode. I'll just say that. It's good. It's so good. Like, the relationship between the two of them is just so good. Overall, I like Creature Commandos, save her for a few little nitpicks and criticisms. I'm just like, whatever. The good outweighs the bad, in my opinion. And also, arguably one of the catchiest opening songs ever. Like, their opening song, Moliendo Cafe. That's what it is. One of the catchiest tunes I've listened to in a long fucking time. Super good. Super, super good. Anyway, let's talk about the man who created the shit, and that's Mr. James Gunn himself. Oh my God. This man has been making the rounds, talking about Creature Commandos here and there. And he's been talking about Superman. He's been talking about Lanterns. He's been talking about a whole bunch of shit in the DCU. Apparently, he also greenlit a project that he's not ready to talk about yet. What could that be, I wonder? Is it Swamp Thing? Is it Booster Gold? No, it's not Booster Gold, because he mentioned that Booster Gold and Brave and the Bold aren't quite where, quote, he wants them to be, which, you know, more power to him. Is it Paradise Lost. Waller. No, I don't. I think he mentioned Waller being in the same space as Booster Gold and Batman at this moment. But he did talk about Superman and talked about how we haven't quite seen Superman's Silver Age inspirations and you know, tonalities in live action before, and apparently that's very prevalent through his movie. Frank Grillo called David Cornsweet like a Christopher Reeve, and I was like, well, that doesn't really move my needle much. Anyone who knows me knows I'm on the Henry Cavill side of things, but teach their own, no knock. That said, you know, he keeps dodging questions about that fucking trailer, which to me implicates it's probably coming pretty soon, probably within like the next couple weeks. Wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt that the Superman trailer more than likely comes before Christmas Day. So between now, December 6th, and December 25th, that's a 19-day time span, we will see the next Superman, we will see the very first trailer for Superman in the next 19 days. That's my guess. A lot of people are theorizing it's coming the week of December 16th, even though that source is questionable. And if that source doesn't turn out to be true, well, you know, I might play this.
You lying sleaze. You want to rethink that answer?
I'll say this, though. The people who wake up every day and do not get a Superman trailer, this is probably what they're doing every single day.
God damn it!
Just a guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's my guess. No, but the necklace does not have much of a bigger part to play. I'll say that much for sure. I think James Gunn saw what Marvel Studios was doing with their podcast show and was like, we need to do the same thing with DC. I agree. I think it's actually really cool that there's a DC Showcase podcast happening every 2 weeks. That's really smart. That's a really nice way to hype shit up. Now, let's see. The first episode, I think, was yesterday. So that means the next one would come the week of December 16th through the 20th, give or take. So that'll be cool. He's also talked a little bit about lanterns and how, honestly, if you guys want to hear what he fucking said, go listen to the most recent Happy Sad Confused podcast episode run by Josh Horowitz. Like James Gunn was the guest, and they have a whole conversation about his career, about how he landed the job at DC, about Creature Commandos, and a lot of the Creature Commando stuff, about where certain projects are, you know, production-wise to an extent, and, you know, some of his likes and dislikes. Now he's an animal guy, but he fucking hates root beer, which I'm just like, okay, pretty much everything you've said here I can kind of align and agree with, except the fact that he does not like root beer. I love root beer. I chase my fucking Jack Daniels with root beer because I don't want to do it with Coke or Pepsi, because I love root beer that much. The fact he doesn't like root beer, I'm like, okay, bud, we see eye to eye on a lot of shit. That's one thing you and I ain't going to see eye to eye on for sure. But, you know, he also talked about his favorite origins of any superhero, and he mentioned Batman and Spider-Man, and I was like, huh, James Gunn and I have the same exact taste in characters. How funny is that? I found that ironically hilarious, because again, anyone who knows me knows I've been fairly critical of James Gunn, and I'm only critical of someone if I actually like what they do for the most part. I mean, I've criticized James Cameron, I've criticized Sam Raimi, I've to a way lesser extent criticized Zack Snyder, but only because I really love what Zack Snyder did with a lot of the DC stuff, and even all of his independent stuff that he's done outside of that too. I think he's just a really polished, well crafted filmmaker, more often than not misunderstood. But James Gunn, I like what he does. There are just certain creative decisions that he's made, and by creative decisions, I mean like intrinsically within his movies and television shows, where I'm just like, don't really like that. But I think that in and of itself is a testament to a good writer, which I will not deny that he is. He is a good writer. I would just say that some things he's written don't really align with me and what I like. So there is that. Anyway, I think it's great that he is the creative side and head of DC, while Safran handles the production, the business, all of that shit. I like that DC has that autonomy and that synergy and finally some fucking stability that Warner Brothers did not have when they were in control of DC. Because let's just face facts. When Warner Brothers was making DC content, it was all over the place. It was a fucking mess, and nothing ever felt truly connected. I'll just say this much as Creature Commandos goes on, you will get the sense that you are in a full-on DC fucking universe, and you can tell all of these characters are in it and present and alive. Straight the fuck up. I'm not going to say how. I'm not going to say when. I will just let you guys know that straight up, Creature Commandos makes it abundantly fucking clear that this is a full-on universe and no character is off limits by any means whatsoever. It actually does feel truly connected in that sense. But I also love that James Gunn mentioned that his universe is going to play a lot more like Star Wars as opposed to Marvel Cinematic Universe, in that you have Creature Commandos happening here, Superman happens a few months after that, but Creature Commandos does not directly set up Superman. I will say that much. What it does do, however, is there will be connective tissue. Like, for instance, we know that Rick Flag Sr. is going to be in Superman. He has a smaller role in that, according to James Gunn, but then he will also go over into Peacemaker Season 2, thereby showing the connective tissue from one project to the next after that. And then, following that, we also get a fucking Supergirl movie set way the fucking outer space based off of Tom King's legendary story, Woman of Tomorrow. And oh my God, I can't fucking wait for that, because that book is awesome and I can't wait to see how that movie turns out, which it also just got a director of photography, if I'm not mistaken. The gentleman who handled all of Alex Garland's movies, I forget the guy's name, but he's apparently DP on that movie, which is cool. It's going to look great. But then you also get Lanterns, which is a terrestrial story based on Earth. And apparently a lot of like fans are like, but we want it in outer space. I'm sorry, how many Green Lantern comics have you read? Just curious, just ballpark. Like how many Green Lantern comics have those fans really read? Because let me tell you, a lot of the stories that they've had, they take place on Earth. So I also like that, I believe Aaron Pierre came out today. Let me pull up his quote real quick. Let's just pull this up just for shits and giggles, right? So I haven't pulled anything up all day, but I did see this quote. I saw it from DC Film News. Where the fuck is it? God damn it. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on. I'm pulling it up. There's that. Oh, interesting. So apparently, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Superman is going through some reshoots, but James Gunn actually just clarified what that is. And let me show you guys what that is. James Gunn says they're doing a day and a half of pickups for Superman. No scenes, no reshoots, just a handful of individual shots to enhance the film. How about that? That's cool. Anyway, where's the quote? There it is, right here. Here's the one I was really looking for. All right. So Aaron Pierre comments for the first time being cast as John Stewart in Lanterns. Quote, I am going to do my very best to serve and honor and elevate in any way I can John Stewart and the Green Lantern Corps. Hopefully I serve that and it resonates with me. Look, this dude is going to be fucking great as John Stewart. I love it. I love that he's playing John Stewart. He's going to do an amazing job. He's fantastic. He is just so fucking dedicated to this shit. I can't wait to see what they do with him. I can't wait to see how they portray his character. I cannot fucking wait. This is going to be an amazing, and I mean amazing show. Because Kyle Chandler's just a great pick in his own right. But man, I saw Aaron Pierre in Rebel Ridge, and he's also in Krypton, the TV show. Dude, this guy has chops. He can fucking act, and it's amazing. It's going to be great. Like, Aaron Pierre is going to be fucking great in Lanterns. And, like, to see that quote from him, and, like, John Stewart is my favorite Green Lantern. I can't fucking wait to see him embody this role. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the first production stills. I can't wait to see them in the suits. It's going to be great. Tom King is part of the writers' crew. He's part of the showrunners' crew. It's him, it's Chris Mundy, and Damon Lindelof. Like all three of those guys are heading Lanterns on HBO, and it's going to be fucking incredible. Like if you've got the guy from Ozark and you've got the other guy from Watchmen, and then you've got Tom King, that's just a recipe dedicated to success, straight up. Because Watchmen is one of the greatest superhero television shows ever made, and it only lasted one season. It only needed one season because it had a phenomenal story to tell. Cher, hey, sorry, this is off topic, but have you seen Y2K? I have not. I plan on it. I plan on actually seeing Kraven the Hunter next week along with Gladiator 2, and I will try and squeeze in Y2K as well, because I did do a trailer reaction to that movie, but I will try and get to it. But yeah, I'm loving what James Gunn is talking about when it comes to the DC universe. It's going to be amazing. Can't wait. Can't believe some people want him to incorporate Matt Reeves' Batman in the DCU, and like, are you people really that confused? DC and elsewhere? I know, man. Like, listen. When someone tells me, or when I hear like, oh, can you imagine Robert Pattinson next to David Cornsweet? I'm like, no. But why? Because they don't look a damn thing alike. Number one. Number two, they're set in two completely different worlds. Number three, why? Why would you force that shit on Matt Reeves? That's not cool. I don't care what kind of fanboy bullshit you want. I don't give a fuck if you want World's Finest. Fuck that. Let Matt Reeves cook. Let him make his fucking detective crime saga. Let him make that shit all on his own. James Gunn has made it abundantly fucking clear that there is a Batman in the DCU, and it's not Robert Pattinson. I can assure you that. And very much so, like, Batman is going to have a child Robin. The Robert Pattinson Batman doesn't even have a Robin yet at all. So there is a very clear difference in terms and years of operation and explanation for their respective Batmen. So I see that shit and I just shake my head and I'm like, you people have no idea what you're talking about. Sit down and shut up. But it is what it is. People can fucking, you know what? When I see that, here's what I'm thinking of most of the time. Here's exactly what I'm thinking of every time I see someone suggest that Robert Pattinson's Batman should be in the DCEU.
I'm like, that's cool, but you're living in a fucking dream world, okay? So
they are living in a fucking dream world. Straight up. Do you like Tom King's Batman comic run? I like Batman and Catwoman. I was not really much of a fan of his Batman run on the whole, but I did like Batman and Catwoman. Do not want Pattinson as the DCU Batman. That's for sure. Hunter Iggy, I just saw your comment. King Phil, what actors or actress from Superman and Lois would you like to see in the DCU? I would love to see Tyler Hoechlin. I would love to see Alex Garfin. I would love to see Michael Bishop, Bitsy Teller. I mean, it'd be really cool if you could incorporate the Kent family there. That'd be fun, but I doubt it'll happen because, it would just be a little too on the nose. This soon, it would be a little too on the nose. But anything is possible. We shall see what happens. Speaking of anything being possible, I did not expect this, but apparently there's like a Scrubs reboot revival happening. I don't know how the fuck you make that happen, but it's apparently a thing that is going to happen. And let me see if I can pull up the article here. It was Deadline who reported that, not Hollywood Reporter. Scrubs reboot. There we go. Oh, here's one from Variety. Here's the Deadline article. Here we go. I saw this yesterday. All right. Present. Share screen. Here we go. Why is it not sharing? Come on. Oh, did my shit freeze? Bro, my shit just froze. No way. No! Why are you freezing on me? No! Ugh. I've never had this happen before. Not once. This is not cool. Not okay. Not okay. Not okay. Not okay. Not okay. Okay, so it's still like showing on my screen that I'm on the screen, but it's not sharing shit. That's just fucking great. Ugh! I don't even have that many tabs open. Like, what the fucking fuck, bro? Oh my god. Well, guys, I think I'm actually running out of time here. Why is this fucking not working the way I want it to? This is not cool. Not okay. Not okay. I think this is where I'm going to put a pin in it, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties. It's also coming up on the hour mark. So I will catch y'all later because, well, like I said, I'm having some technical difficulties. Do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'd pull it up if I could, but I can't because, again, my computer's just being a piece of shit right now. But, yeah. Do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe button, share. Let me know your thoughts, feelings. Let me know how you guys feel about Creature Commandos in the coming days. Let me know what y'all think. Much love. Take care. But I'm going to have to end things right here, right now. And that kind of sucks. Anyway, take care, guys. Much love. We good? Can I finish the show? Let's see if I can finish the show. Can I finish the show traditionally? Because I just like had to fucking close my tabs and shit. Like, what the fuck, bro? Harry Potter reboot is happening too. Mark Strong is being added. Okay, yeah, you're right. I thought I was gonna like end the show, but I guess like if I close the tab, it won't end the stream. I guess I'm a dumbass. I've never done that before. But yeah, you're right. There is one other thing I did have, and that was outside of the Scrubs reboot revival happening, there is also HBO is apparently circling this gentleman right here to play Severus Snape. Let's see if it'll actually fucking share it too. There it goes. I don't know why the fuck I wouldn't do that the first time. This will be the last thing I talk about before I for sure end the show. Like, my bad. I should not have been so quick to do that, but I know that for now, for next time. Anyway, HBO is circling Papa Isaidu. I don't even know how to pronounce that. For Severus Snape role in the Harry Potter TV show. Is interested in casting I May Destroy You's Papa Isaidu as Severus Snape in its upcoming Harry Potter TV series. No formal offer has been made to the actor, nor has the team conversed with HBO suits about a potential deal. Meanwhile, we hear Mark Strong, Mark Rylance are circling the role of Dumbledore. HBO spokesperson recently said about Strong casting rumors, we appreciate that such a high-profile series will draw a lot of rumor and speculation. As we make our way through pre-production, we will only confirm details as we finalize deals. So, to me, sounds like nothing's really set in stone, but they're definitely, it looks like they're honing in on some people for Harry Potter. But that is the last thing I'm going to talk about outside of that Scrubs reboot. I'll just say, like, Scrubs is one of my favorite shows, and I'm kind of curious to see what they do with that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is where I'm for sure going to put a pin in it now. Apologies for the will I, won't I fucking end the show. But, you know, do me that favor. Hit that button. Do the thing. Much love. Take care. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, everyone, for stopping in. Love you. Have a great weekend.